السلام عليكم. حياكم الله في حلقة جديدة من زوايا الإحتضان. ضيفنا اليوم من سلطنة عمان الشقيقة، يعرفنا بنفسه. Introduce yourself. Hello.
Hi. السلام عليكم. فارس زكواني من عمان. Yeah.
That's good for an introduction.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
You leave the rest for the questions.
For the questions.
Okay, perfect. Okay. How old were you when you were adopted?
I was 5 months old when my mom adopted me. She adopted me on Christmas, the 25th of December.
Christmas Day itself?
Yeah.
Cool. حدة تمام. So كنت يعني كان celebrity.
Somehow.
It's a celebration actually, مو celebration بالبيت عندكم. Okay. Any siblings? أنت بروحك محتضن ولا معك؟
عندي أخت أصغر.
عندك أخت أصغر منك بكم سنة؟
4 سنوات.
4 سنوات. Okay. أنت كنت واعي لما احتضنوا أختك؟ You were aware of it?
Funny story. أنا رحت لأمي and I told her, Mom, I want a sister.
Okay.
Few months later, I have a sister.
Okay.
Yeah.
ولما قلت لها you want a sister قالت لك مثلا okay we're gonna get a new one ولا بروح الأورفنج؟ Did she mention anything?
Nothing really. I think I was so young in I didn't even know where children come from. ما كنت أعرف إنه في شيء اسمه pregnancy. That's how young I was. فبس
okay.
It was like a request. I want a sister لأن كنت بروحي يعني طول فترة.
كنت مستانس لما يابوا السيستر؟
Yes, I loved my sister.
زي لما if you remember لما قلت إن أنا أبي سيستر كنت متخيل إنه بيجيبوا لك سيستر تلعب وياها ولا سيستر كذي بيبي كأنها بيبي دول صغيرة؟
Baby.
You were aware إنه it's gonna be a baby.
Yeah. وحتى نفس الشيء when they adopted her.
Yeah.
I was 4 years old and I did not drink from the bottle anymore.
إيه.
فلما جاب أختي وشفت إنه هي تشرب من البوتل.
إيه.
I also started drinking from the bottle again.
إيه. أكو ناس قاعدين معانا هني a couple of years later قالوا ازعلوا من هو يعني نور لما قالت I want a baby sister. طبعا ما كان في baby sisters ف I adopted I got her a baby brother. بس that was 3 years later. And أتذكر مرة كانوا كذي كبار مو كبار يعني 5-6 years old كانوا يتخانقون نور وهابي كان يقول لي send her back to the orphanage and get us a puppy.
Okay.
مع انه هو اللي بعدين يعني قال he wants to send her back. Okay. Back to your story. So did you know how old were you? Tell us how you knew you were adopted. شلون عرفت ان انت you were adopted?
Firstly يعني everything was at a very young age when you're very innocent. يعني كان عمري 5-7 سنوات something in that range يعني 5-6-7 and كنت بألمانيا لأن أمي is from Germany. فكنا بألمانيا we were playing يعني I was playing with the other kids اللي في الحارة معانا one of the kids يعني out of nowhere قال لي أو قالت لي ما أعرف if it was a girl or a guy بس أكبر عني older than me سألني فارس are you adopted?
Yeah.
For me not knowing what the word is, I'm like خلينا نروح أسأل أمي.
Okay.
For all of us walked يعني كنا تحت and we lived in the 4th floor. خذينا الإليفيتر all running رحنا فوق وأمي كانت تشتغل. فرحنا عند أمي وسألتها Mom, am I adopted? وكذا very easily يعني قالت لي yes and that was it. يعني I didn't even know what adoption
was. Then
was.
you all went back to playing.
We all went back to play.
Mom, can I have a chocolate, a piece of chocolate وبس ومشيتوا.
That's it. يعني it was.
And you never thought about it. كلش يعني ما فكرت شنو. You didn't even ask afterwards anything.
At that young age, you don't know what adoption is.
Yeah.
يعني very young. يعني it was just a word for me. My mom is my mom. And
exactly.
All the love and I always got everything. She spoiled me يعني basically.
Yeah.
So it was never really a thought that adoption is something.
Okay.
It's like saying pregnancy for me back then.
Yeah.
But then growing up, of course, يعني that's when the whole issues started.
Okay, you understand. Okay. But you used to go to Germany in summers يعني? You spent the summers there?
Yeah, so I lived between Amman and Germany.
Okay.
يعني مدرسة بيتنا كان في عمان. بس في الهوليديز summer holidays 1 month 2 months كنا نروح إجازة لأنه بيت أمي نفس الشيء في ألمانيا
وعندكم عندك friends هناك يعني it's a full life عندكم حياتكم هناك وعندكم أصحاب وعندك كل شيء. You spoke German?
German is my mother tongue.
اوكي واو.
First German بعدين عربي وبعدين إنجليزي.
اوكي تمام. متى مرة ثانية ياك موضوع الاحتضان؟ talking about it. When did it come? Okay, you were 7, you never asked again. When did you have to open the subject again? That's when we get into the teen years. Okay, just to let you know. So what story brought it up? You were punished, you were
okay, I understand. The story came up basically when as a teenager mostly, يعني not really a teenager, I would say a little bit younger, maybe 10, something like that, around that age group, when you start going to school and you start mingling with friends. أو هنا school, let's just say school, يعني مدرسة. كانت أمي دائما تجي لما كنت أسوي مشاكل، يعني كانوا يتصلوا في أمي وأمي اللي كانت تجي. ف whoever knows my mom knows we don't look the same.
ليش؟ قول لنا ليش. You have to say
why we don't look alike.
يعني tell us more. لأن it's for the audience. I know your mom. I met your mom.
You met my mom. My mom is this short, blonde, and has white skin color. يعني European 100% basically. And كنت أدرس في مدرسة حكومية في عمان, where mostly Amani people go. يعني ما في واجد أجانب, في شوية نسبة قليلة, but full blooded. يعني مثلا كان عندنا مصريين في المدرسة نفس الشيء, بس fully مصريين, يعني you'd know them. بس
فماكو أحد mixed race.
ما في أي حد mixed. يعني I never met anyone who's mixed race. يمكن في, بس I never met anyone في مدارس حكومية. ف شكلي عماني, يعني تصرفاتي وفي المدرسة ومع الشباب وكذا fully عماني. بس لما بدت يعني I started becoming a teenager, بدت تصير المشاكل, ضربات وكذا وما أعرف إيش, and you need to call your parents, يعني your parents need to be called. أمي جيت. فما بنسى لما أول مرة أمي جيت المدرسة, جلسنا أنا والمدير وأمي. فأول ما أمي دخلت انصدم المدير, شاف علي قال لي من هذه؟ شفت علي قلت له أمي. فرجال انصدم, و English skills were not really his thing. فقال لي أوكي تمام هذه أمك. أوكي أنا بخبرك وأنت ترجم لأمك. So I'm like perfect.
أيوة عشان نطلع من المشكلة
يعني
تماما
100%. So he would tell me something, I would translate something completely different. I would tell my mom شوية of the problem لأنه هي عارفة إنه جاي المشكلة, بس يعني a few stories you put to the side. That was one advantage. بس المشكلة ما مشكلة, بس يعني الفيلم اللي صار بعد ما أمي طلعت من غرفة المدير was funny, لأنه إحنا غرفة المدير في وسط المدرسة. فلما تصير مشكلة كل الأولاد, لأنه مدرسة حكومية فقط أولاد, كلهم يطلعوا من الصفوف. I walk out and my mom walks out. وأشوف فوق لأن الصفوف كلهم فوق. أمي عادي كذا, يعني she walks out with her blazer, her long skirt, وأنا بدشداش وكمة كذا على صوب, because we were كمة in عمان كذا. I look up, everyone's looking and everyone is shocked كذا. وأنا كل audience وأنا كله اللي في عقلي جالس أفكر فيه okay, stories out, time to go through whatever stories يعني will happen. that was basically the first experience. يعني.
The first experience بالزين. الحين صارت هذه المشكلة وأنتوا تكلمتوا when you were 7 you asked her, وبعدين you never sat down with your mom and talked about it.
ما كان موضوع أبدا إنه نتكلم عنه, because firstly أمي يعني كانت دائما في الشغل, كانت داوم في البيت, يعني she used to do home office لأن كان عندها شركتها. فكانت الشركة في البيت, she had her office in the first floor. فمن يوم ما أعرف أمي حتى لليوم تشتغل, يعني she's ما شاء الله really a woman, تشتغل 24 ساعة. ما أنا حسيت موضوع يستاهل إني أجلس مع أمي وأقول hey mom by the way adoption, can I know a little bit more يعني كذا.
But did you have questions?
A lot of questions.
You did?
A lot of questions.
Where did you go with your questions? Was there anyone you could talk to at then بهذاك الوقت?
Back then thing is يعني الشباب you're older than I am, الشباب هنا نفس الشيء older than I am, بس in my generation أحس we did not have that social media stuff, Snapchat, Instagram, WhatsApp وما أعرف إيش, no one really knew anything about it أحس يعني
فما سألت,
ما تعرف كيف تفاتح موضوع للشخص ما يعرف شيء عنه يعني. Plus in my age back then 12, 13 or whatever, يعني how are you going to sit with someone and say hey I'm adopted, يعني خوفي
let's talk about it صح؟
خوفي كان إنه بيسألني شخص what's adoption even يعني ولا حد بيقول لي مسكين أنت you're adopted وكذا. That was kind of my fear, إنه someone would belittle me and feel bad for me.
Okay, teen years, teen issues. Yeah.
Is this also the identity issue?
Yeah,
that's
this
connected
is where
with it?
yes. Okay. Teen issues, we talked about identity and أنت قاعد في مدرسة ما شفت أحد عنده mixed race. Your mom is German, your father is Omani, you're adopted.
Yeah.
Tell me about identity.
Identity is a very big subject. يعني I think in teen years يعني حتى لو شخص adopted, not adopted, in teen years everyone has their identity crisis.
صح.
يعني
And that's right.
Even if it's not adoption يعني any person, حتى الشباب اللي يجلس معهم back then, it's always the question أنا من, where do I belong to? I think being adopted just puts extra weight on it لأنه you don't know where you belong to. يعني one example is تجلس في المجلس تشوف على أمك تشوف على أبوك and you try to figure out who am I like يعني okay, am I like my father? No. Am I like my mother? No. So you try to figure out who am I like, and تضيع تشوف مع ربعك يعني your friends are in a specific way, you're not that way. It's just.
So what did you do about all that? شلون حليتها؟
كيف حليتها؟ I was actually speaking with Abdul earlier also about this. So there are three things. Either you see someone's personality and take it. Okay. Yeah, and you just rob that personality from somewhere else. Or you start creating a personality from zero. يعني تبدأ تجلس مع ناس مثلا I sit with you اليوم. I see something in your personality which I like. I take and form something out of it for myself. So you create your own. Your own. So you start from scratch, and that is a struggle because you create your own personality. Yes. You create your own personality, وبعدين you don't find someone who is like you at all. الإحساس إن أنت مختلف وإن أنت ماكو شيء مثلك gives you doubt إن there's something wrong. It does give you a doubt. It definitely. صح. Definitely. Okay. الحين أنت الحين كونت شخصيتك من أخذت أجزاء here and there. أنت دائما تتكلم إن أنت you're more like your mom. Yeah. Okay. وهذا عطاك إحساس إنه you're different. Yeah. And it's a lonely road because you create a new person. Yes. Out of أمك and the society around you. Yeah. Okay. What comes with this? The loneliness and being adopted. You have no one to talk to. You become your own best friend. Your own best friend. يعني ليش ما مساء قلت لي أنت ما تتكلم مع حد لأن تعتقد أنه ما يفهمون شيء عن الاحتضان عن adoption. Yeah. But what about other things that you need to talk to? You need to talk about. It starts with adoption, I guess, because that's like my personal main thing. يعني number one subject which I had, which was a very big subject. فحسيت نفسي إذا ما أقدر أتكلم عن هذا الموضوع مع حد ما في أي موضوع ثاني أقدر أتكلم مع حد. يعني there are no other subjects because it all kind of circles around that one thing نهاية اليوم. Because as you said, identity, being adopted and all these things, it all just circles around that one subject. You don't really find someone where you can have a conversation with and sit down with. يعني everything revolves around adoption and being adopted. Yes.
So this is where everything starts.
For me, yes.
Not only for you, ترى for
Okay.
everyone. يعني أبيك تطمن إنه for everyone لأن all the adoptees لأن يعني شنها الأساس. It's the core of everything. Once you know who you are, you can build on it. صح؟ Okay. Usually kids بالمدرسة بالصف الرابع والخامس أكو bullying. Did you go through any of that?
Yes. I think there was a specific time where I would think kids, يعني at a young age, kids are the most horrible thing when it comes to bullying. يعني
They're
worse
mean,
than
ترى
grown-ups.
they're mean.
Yes.
Yeah,
لأنه kids don't have a lock on their tongue. يعني كذا يقولوا لي في عقلهم.
صح.
يعني if I don't like your shoes, I tell you there and then. يعني now in this age I would not say it لأني بستحي شوية. But kids don't. They say what they feel. It hurts, it doesn't hurt. They don't really care. يعني.
Okay, tell me. What happened?
Bullying. Bullying starts from, as mentioned, school. Was a very big subject. لأنه كنت أول شيء مدرسة حكومية. Only guys and mostly, I would say, Amani people go to that school. And who come from Amani families. So very family based. وبعدين in the middle, I come here with my mom who doesn't speak a word Arabic. وأنا يعني في الفترة from 1st grade until 5th grade ما تكلمت عربي.
Okay.
فcommunication بيني وبين الأولاد الثانيين كان صفر. يعني يكلموني وأنا blank. I wouldn't know what to say. بعدين there was a transition. رحت مدرسة خاصة لفترة معينة وبعدين for other reasons دخلت حكومة مرة ثانية a little bit older. This is where I think I was 12, 13 and there again the bullying started very bad. Then my mom again started coming to school. Things would be said about my mom يعني أمي بتجي المدرسة and they'd see her and they would say certain things,
bad things,
very inappropriate things about my mom and which would really hurt me. Which would really hurt me. يعني the first day would pass, second day would pass, third day would pass وبعدين the question is always الشخص كم بيتحمل لين متى بيتحمل يعني. month passed I'm like okay I don't want to be the weak guy forever يعني because you're a guy لازم تكون كذا need to be the big guy always. فخذيت معي hammer للمدرسة وخليته بالشنطة and I walked in وجلست وبعدين the bullying just started always وبعدين at some point when it would become too much بفتح شنطتي بطلع الهامر مالي.
أيوة.
I mean I never used it but you know you would always say hey
yes.
okay I can defend myself you know even though physical يعني defending is not always the answer but back then as a kid and in that age أتوقع a lot of people would also maybe relate to it is you clear it out with the fists يعني مستحيل in that age you sit down with someone and have a conversation لا اسمعني واحد اثنين ثلاثة
ما يسوون هناك
ما حد بيسمعك it goes immediately to the fists
fights
يعني. And that's how you survive through it. وبعدين حتى في الحارة was also very difficult لأنه everyone knew who my mom was في الحارة يعني also I was used to get bullied لأنه ما كنت أتكلم عربي سيدة and look wise I fit into your typical عماني يعني why wouldn't you speak perfect عربي يعني.
Okay.
I used to go to the shop always and I used to be afraid because people would look after يعني وراي كذا وين أروح وين أمشي older kids who are 18 and I'm 14 12 or whatever age I was and كنت أخاف till I asked my mom for a dog. قلت أريد كلب حلمي كلب أريد كلب في البيت وما أعرف إيش.
Okay.
I used to walk the dog always في الحارة for protection على أساس used to walk to the shop with the dog so no one speaks with me, no one bullies me. Bullying just kept on happening. يعني the dog wasn't a solution.
ما كان ها؟
Yeah. بعدين فترة من حياتي which is like لا Yeah, then one incident happened. This
Okay.
I didn't speak about also.
Okay.
Is أمي اشترت لي سيكل.
سيكل as in motorcycle ولا سيكل as in bicycle؟
bicycle.
اوكي بايسكل. اوكي.
bicycle.
احنا بالكويت نسميه قاري.
قاري.
Okay. ما ادري من وين الكلمة بس
New word to the dictionary. فأمي bought me one bicycle. فرحت في الحارة وبديت أسوق وكذا. And the older kids called me. فقالوا لي خلينا نشوف سيكلك وكذا وما أعرف إيش. And I didn't really have anything. I didn't know what money was.
Okay.
فقالوا لي أعطيني سيكلك وبعطيك فلوس.
Oh.
So I'm like okay, you know what. من الخوف يعني قلت لهم okay, خذوا سيكلي أعطوني الفلوس. And they gave me peanuts, nothing يعني. Just give me one piece of paper.
Okay.
And that's it. And I went back home. My mom asked when is سيكل. قلت لها بعتها. She got mad because it was a brand new bicycle. This was the first time my mom left the house in order to interact with people من الحارة. قالت لي وين البيت. Pointed at the house. ودقت الجرس. طلعوا الأولاد 18, 17. And I'm 12 I think at that time. وأنا كذا خايفان. I'm just shaking. I'm thinking oh my god this is not going to end well يعني.
Yeah.
فتحوا الباب. They didn't know English. So they look at my mom. Hi, how are you? What do you want? I'm just thinking, okay, this is not going to end well. فأمي started explaining. She's like, I want the bicycle of my son. Here's your money and give me the bicycle. No, my bicycle. وطلعوا الشباب صبغوا السيكل أسود.
Oh.
So they said this is not even his bike. My mom just took the bike. She was younger back then and strong. Took the bike عقدت في السيارة. And we left. وأتذكر the window was open. And they just said one thing. قالوا إذا احنا شفناك في الحارة بنقتلك. So at that age.
This is scary.
So at that age, I'm just thinking, okay, I don't have anyone to protect me. It's only my mom. My mom does not speak a word Arabic. فجلست تقريبا 7 سنوات لين we moved out of the house we're living in في البيت. I was a straight A student.
Staying home.
Staying at home. Literally at home. يعني أطلع من باب البيت سيارة على طول سكول. سيارة مول. حارة وشباب وكذا did not exist for me at all يعني.
There was no chance you move, صح؟ وأبوك, where was your dad throughout all this?
Not there.
Not there.
Not at all. Not at all.
That's the missing piece.
That's again a very big segment down this whole thing. Yeah.
It's the missing piece. It is rough. It's only you and your mom.
Yeah, it was honestly very rough. يعني culture-wise, it was only the German language and German culture. My mom يعني is familiar with عمان. لكن في النهاية my mom's from Europe.
Yes.
يعني the religion, الديانة, اللغة, الثقافة, العادات والتقاليد and all that did not really exist. يعني all what I got was mother love, which is I think an international thing.
Yes.
All mothers love their sons and daughters and children the same way and want to prepare them for outside.
Yes.
And my mom did her best بس بدون الباكجراوند of the place.
Of the place. Exactly. صح. She wouldn't have guessed.
She wouldn't have guessed. يعني ما دام ما عندك الأب who's supposed to, I would say يعني prepare you for outside. You're on your own. يعني تبني شخصيتك. كيف أتعامل مع ناس.
حارتكم كانت rough.
Very rough. كنت عايش في حارة. Back then, older guys.
Is it still the same? هذه الحارة?
I drove past, I think last month ولا كذا. Completely different. يعني it's different. E-scooters يسوقوا ما أعرف إيش and all that. It's much safer.
Yeah, it wasn't safe. You want to talk about the other story with the neighbor?
Yeah. That is also a complete different story.
يعني حارتكم كان ما فيها أمان ومثل ما أنت قلت لأن أمك من باك جراوند مختلف ما تعرف الكالتشر فما she couldn't protect you. صح؟ She wouldn't have guessed إن الجيرانكم أو people around would be this way, that cruel.
Thing is, is gangs يعني I would call them gangs but in a
Okay.
very nice way, not gangs as in
Okay.
مسدسات وكذا, just gangs يعني شلات. 3 segments, which is one segment is so in Amman. I would say we have 3 types of people.
Okay.
Which is one, you'd have Amanis, which mostly live in the interior of Amman.
Okay.
Which are very very Amani.
Okay.
متمسكين بكل العادات والتقاليد وكذا وما أعرف إيش وما شاء الله عليهم. And you have them also in Muscat, which is the capital. And you have Amanis, who are also Belushi. And you have also Amanis who have a relationship, يعني Amani Zanzibaris.
Okay.
You have these 3.
Okay.
So all these 3 would have their communities.
Okay.
Right? So إن كان لغة, إن كان عادات, إن كان أكل. So
that's interesting.
they all kind of relate to each other.
Okay.
So you always have someone to go back to. But here comes again Faris, not knowing where he fits into. يعني, I don't belong to any of these 3. And so I was always looked as an outsider, very naive. يعني, you wouldn't understand anything. I was always looked at the European boy at that age, I would say.
So who more European عشان أمك يعني أظن الحين أنا كم مرة رايحة عمان و I do يعني you know we meet a lot.
Yeah.
I never saw those differences. You have to be a Omani or live it I think to see هذه الأشياء.
Yes.
فأحط نفسي مكان your mom, I wouldn't have recognized
هذه
differences.
Big differences. You would think all are under one culture, which is there are like main things which are there. It's like a book when it's written, okay, these is the Omani culture, but then these small little outside things just add to it.
It's like familial stuff within the family.
Exactly.
That's interesting.
Exactly.
Okay. So back to the neighborhood.
So the neighborhood. For me, being this kind of outsider, looked as always naive يعني. And the story was in كان رمضان, Eid, one of the festives يعني ما أتذكر which one exactly. when أهلي في البيت they told me تخض الأكل ودي للجيران. So I'm like okay يعني this is أشياء الحارة, why not do it يعني. I was very young, I would say 6, 7. It's a normal thing. You'd see in festives بيوت الناس يعني كذا أطفال ياخذوا صحن يودوا للجيران وبعدين كذا ورايحين وراجعين. I did it. I went to not the house which is next to us, the house which is next to that one. وكنت أعرفهم العيلة يعني نشوفهم وكذا. And I used to play with the kids bad. I used to play with the kids, so I was familiar with the house. They were all nice kids. And it was a small house, but a lot of people lived in it. يعني grandchildren, uncles, aunties.
Okay, بيت العائلة, بيت العائلة. Okay.
So I took that plate of food and went over, and the door opened. يعني باب البيت, which is the gate, opened. So opened, gave the plate, and was invited in. يعني. I was thinking, okay, whatever. يعني I've been to this house. It's no biggie.
No
يعني,
big deal,
nothing to think about.
And I play with the kids.
Exactly. فدخلت, and that's basically when this whole story where I blacked out and I didn't really remember and know what was happening, which was the rape. And يعني I didn't even know what it was. يعني you're 5, 6, you don't know what it is. يعني you're taught in the culture, or not only in the culture, في العالم, always respect your elders.
Your elders.
يعني, and everyone's nice to you in public. يعني elder people, you never think wrong. بس لما that happened, I always knew it was something wrong.
And you wouldn't be able to talk about, did you?
No.
Did you tell your mom?
No, because I think my mom had different issues. يعني she was busy with life, work وكذا, and I didn't want to add that thing to my mother. لأن she already had so many things to think about. يعني
I think بعد the conflict, he's an elder person. مثل ما قلت they taught you to respect that person وما تدري صح you know that's wrong but
هل حد بيصدقني أنا؟
أي.
That's also another question. I'm a 5-6-year-old and what if I say hey
but
this
that's
man
horrible.
did this and this هل حد بيصدقني ولا I think.
Do you remember what happened ولا you said you totally blacked out?
I totally blacked out. I don't remember it.
When did you remember it? After
تعلمت كذا when I started growing up وما بين الشباب يعني I think it's a guy's thing كل مكان في العالم. I mean I've also had that in Germany when at a certain age you're supposed to be a man والشباب يمزحوا يعني بكلمات وكذا وانت 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 and you're always supposed to be the man يعني لا تجلس كذا لا تجلس كذا كون رجال وما أعرف إيش ف when these things started happening growing up slowly I started remembering.
Oh my goodness.
يعني
ouch حده.
Yeah يعني it slapped me out of nowhere. تتذكر يعني I'm like okay الشباب يتكلموا عن هالموضوع بهالطريقة so
تذكرت.
That's what I thought. I'm like okay this actually happened to me. صح إنه I blacked out but there is something you remember. I don't know if it's a feeling in your body or whatever it is بس تتذكر.
Yeah, the body usually has the memory.
Yes, and then you sit there and you start doubting yourself. You're like, okay, maybe I'm not the man, or this happened to me, and you start doubting yourself. يعني لأنه الشباب معروف يعني يتكلموا عن السوالف إنه كون رجال وكون كذا وما حد يمسك وأنت ما أعرف إيش وأنت كذا وأنت كذا. Then you start doubting yourself. You're like, okay, maybe I'm not man enough to يعني or whatever it is يعني.
Because this happened.
So you start blaming yourself وتسكر على نفسك وما تكلم أي حد عن الموضوع. And this is the first time I speak publicly about it. لأنه
That's very hard.
It is. I hope this does not backlash إن الشباب حتى يضحكوا علي or whatever because this is how it is. I don't know if it's a cultural or it's a guy's thing. I don't even know what consequences it might have me opening up about it because this is literally the first time I speak about it publicly.
Okay.
يعني.
If you don't want it, we can always take it off.
No, we can have it because
okay.
I think it should be something a little bit normal for guys to talk about. يعني.
Okay, if anything happened to them, like rape or something.
Exactly, someone to speak up. يعني.
And it has nothing to do with you being a man. It's an incident that happened when you were a child. ما لها علاقة. أنت ما راح تصير مو ريال. If it happened to you, you were a victim.
طفل,
to a sick person.
You're 5'6".
Yeah.
What are you supposed to do against someone who's mid-20s or 30s? وش بتسوي?
Exactly.
What can you say? No? Push them away? Hit them? Nothing.
ما راح تقدر عليه. He's a lot stronger. He's older.
Yeah. That's that story. يعني.
Ouch. وبعدين so الحين it hit you أنت and you had actually a few you had doubts if you're man enough or not.
Yeah, that's the thing. يعني.
وبعدين how did you solve that?
I think growing up I had also female friends يعني guy friends and female friends and male friends never really opened up about these things. I never really knew someone who had an incident like this. But there were female friends which I had when we just chill and talk like we're talking now. They would open up about stories يعني, where they'd say this has happened to me by someone really close to me. وكذا. وبعدين I would feel brave enough إنه madam she opened up to me about it. يعني first person I'd open up to is a female, not somewhere old. يعني someone who also has experience.
Yeah.
So that's the first person I would open up to. And I'd feel some sort of a relief.
Okay.
Talking about it because it's like this thing I feel very wrong about.
Yes.
يعني I've carried it with me for years, not talking about it. And then just speaking about it, it's like, okay, weight off you. Okay, finally, you know.
تحس إنه مالك ذنب يعني. It's not you.
It's not
it has
you.
nothing to do. Did
you
tell your mom?
Yes. Which is...
متى?
I don't remember. Maybe I was 22.
Okay.
22, 23. بعد ما العالم كله تفتح and these subjects started becoming normal. نزلت تحت أتذكر. My mom was having breakfast. نزلت and I'm like, hi, mom. Kissed her on her head. I'm like, I want to tell you something.
Okay.
I started normally. قلت لها تذكري when we used to live in this neighborhood and we had a neighbor here and she's like yeah زين بعدين I'm like I got sexually raped يعني by the neighbor. She kind of sat there and asked me when did this happen. She's like I told her يعني at the age of 5, 6, something like that. She instantly got angry. She's like why didn't you tell me and يعني we could have done something back then يعني. And she was about to cry. She said I'm so sorry that this happened to you يعني ماني ما حسيت أمي ما تعرف كيف تتصرف. But so much time passed إنه she just didn't know how to react to it. And it was a story out of nowhere. يعني ماني I prepared her.
You can't. What shocks a person usually in the realization that you cannot protect your child even when you're close. This is very painful. And I feel it with my kids.
One thing she also told me بعد ما خبرت القصة she said إنه كانت تجلس في غرفتها when I was that age كانت تقول لي I opened all the pictures of back then وكنت أصيح. قلت لها ليش؟ قالت لي just I can't see it that something actually happened to you. How couldn't I have seen it?
الحين جزء part of the teenage years الواحد usually rebels and becomes totally different. وسنوات الteens usually the adoptee realizes المجتمع ونظرة المجتمع and what adoption really is. Where were you in that?
So as a teenager to my time you're emotionally شوية رك يعني ما تعرف am I supposed to man up, am I supposed to let out the emotions, am I supposed to wish? So you're just a mix of everything. يعني. I also used to do a lot of stupid stuff I would say يعني, which
typical teen
يعني بتدخن بتسوي you'd steal my mom's car and drive وما أعرف وش all kinds of stuff يعني. When you would get into trouble يعني when I would get into trouble with my mother back then very hurtful. I mean I'm also not proud of saying that بس يعني I would just look at my mom and say hey you're not even my mother يعني. If she'd shout at me بقولها hey يعني I'd get mad and angry وكذا and then it would come out of me you're not my mother you don't have anything to tell me
you're not even my real mom عادي كل not only you كل أنا سمعتها وهم صغار وسمعتها وهم كبار ف it happens a lot I think هي نوع من أنواع ال venting out يمكن
maybe
يعني anger towards your mom because she's the safe place
could be but you feel relieved يعني looking back at
it is a safe place you can say whatever you want أكو ناس قالوا لي مو بس قال أنتي مو أمي ما تعرفين تربين
ولا
فعادي يعني
also يعني with my mom it's like oh you don't understand anything about the culture you don't know what I go through you don't know what's outside there
حبيبتي
وما أعرف إيش you just let it out but thinking about it now as a grown up I would actually like to sit with my mother وأسألها how did it affect her
يعني أكو أمهات ما يتحملون للحين أنا أشوف بالجروبات الأمهات they don't want to hear it but it is a normal part of growing up and going through things عادي وهو صغير الياهل if he knew when he was little he would tell his mom أنتي مو أمي وبالteenage years is typical عادي if you when you sit and talk to her just tell her it happens وأكو أمهات they want to hear it they don't mind وأكو أمهات يعني شوية sensitive بس أنا أتذكر لما كان يقول لي كذي كنت أقول له مو كيفك أنا أمك غصبا عنك whether you like it or not it happens it is a normal
because teens are very funny يعني إلا نحن تجلس تسمع أغاني حزينة with your headphones you're sitting there you're listening to the lyrics وبعد ما your mother يعني shouted at you and whatever تسمع الأغاني بعدين كذا you go like okay you come down and you just let it all out يعني كذا تفكر في الحياة and things you're not even supposed to think about
I think it's the hormone مال teenagers
definitely
يعني
that.
وبعدين ترى a lot of very serious jobs you have to find build an identity ولازم فكر ولازم مستقبل. والمدرسة أنا دائما أقول لهم المدرسة is your those high school years يعني your future is built on those years, and at the same time you have other things that you have to do. والsurge of hormones ups and downs here and there ما تنام and you have to wake up for school. You have to do this. عارف a lot of contradictions.
Yeah, these are the teenager problems. بس بعدين the issue comes again with adoption.
With adoption,
when أنت just تقول not my parents. It's I'm going through all of this because I'm adopted. And you put yourself in a hole which never ends. It just gets deeper and deeper and deeper.
دائما adoptees have an extra layer يعني just like all the other people بس أكو extra layer. What do you think a teen should do, or how do people have to يعني handle? أنت if you were a teen again, what would you do different? Looking back at your life now that you have the wisdom, you're older now وتقدر تشوف شنو صار وهذا, what would you do different?
I think I would try to understand my mother more.
Okay.
Because back then يعني كنت أسأل نفسي أمي ليش ما تتحجب؟ أمي ليش ما تسوي كذا؟ أمي ليش ما تلبس عباية؟ أمي ليش ما تفهم عربي؟
تبي تندمج بالمجتمع ها؟
Exactly.
You wanna belong.
There was ما أتوقع there was really any understanding towards my mother.
Okay.
يعني I never tried understanding her. It was more of, and I wouldn't call it enemy, but stranger.
Yes.
يعني okay, you're my mom in these four walls. بس برا يعني I don't know what can we do هنا. يعني me and you we're all in the wild jungle. ما نعرف كيف نتصرف هنا.
ما احنا عارفين شو نسوي احنا اثنين. لا انت you don't belong, I don't belong.
Exactly.
انزين. هذا البelonging ترى it's very big.
Yeah.
بالadoption والadoptees.
Yeah.
So where are you now?
Where am I now? I would say I'm the lone wolf somehow.
Okay. Still.
يعني till today, even a grown up, يعني there are a lot of things you would like to speak with people about. Let's say يملؤها, I got to meet him. He's 15. He speaks like he's in his mid-30s.
Okay.
His perspective on life. And يعني not finding anyone you can talk to.
Yeah. That's very big.
Not at all. Not at all.
يعني. So you're still looking for your tribe?
I would say I gave it up already. I mean, because you always try. You don't have any languages in common. You don't have the tradition in common. يعني أنا حاولت أندمج مع European people because that's where I thought I belonged to. بس بعدين لاحظت okay, I miss عادات وتقاليد شوية. And then when I'm in that عادات تقاليد section, I'm like, okay, this is a bit too much for me.
Too much for me.
So okay, I need to find someone in between. But I don't think there is anyone really. I personally couldn't find anyone in between. It's either هنا ولا هنا.
Okay.
Yeah.
لا إن شاء الله you will find someone.
Hopefully.
إنزين, you spoke في عمان.
Yeah.
Behind the microphone back in 2019. Why and what? What happened?
Why and what?
Tell us about it.
Can I do a quick shout out?
Yeah.
Shout out to Hiba. So
well, we miss her.
Yeah. So I met a friend, a friend of mine who I had back then, a female friend. Her name is Fatma, who I met, and we spoke about a lot of things. And I don't know how. I mean, I felt so comfortable speaking with her about things, and I brought up this adoption thing. I'm like, which I never usually open up with to anyone back then. فتكلمت, I'm like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm adopted. It just slipped out. She's like, oh yeah, a friend of mine is also adopted, and كذا, why don't you guys connect? I'm like, okay, that's a bit weird, because up to that age where I was in my 20s, I literally thought I'm the only person in عمان adopted.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
يعني ما كنت أعرف إنه في ناس وفي
a big community.
A big community. So I always thought, okay, I'll go there, and they'll most probably expect me to be the only person by a microphone telling my story. So I went there. Someone contacted me. which was Hiba.
Hey.
Again, shout out to Hiba. And she called me. She was very too. يعني I wouldn't say too much, but she was like, hey, how are you? ما أعرف إيش وكذا. And it's nice to meet you, brother. I'm like, why is she calling me brother? إيش دخل brother? We don't know each other. She was like, yeah, we're having this event and we'd love to meet you. We're going to be speaking about adoption. For me, it was like, I don't really want to speak about it.
Okay.
يعني topic حساس إلي أنا. وبعدين جالس أفكر أوكي يمكن أمي ما بيعجبها. عندي ربعي اللي ما يعرفوا القصة وبيجي يكتشفوا فجأة كذا من some video popping up on social media. Hey, by the way, I'm adopted. يعني كذا خوف من واجد أشياء يعني. بس I don't know where I got the courage. Maybe from Hiba because she was so. Hey, yeah, man.
She makes you ride the wave with her.
Yeah, I kind of doubted. قلت لها, I'll think about it. She's like, no, you'll do it. It's fine. It'll be fun. You'll get to know the others.
Yeah.
So I showed up that night. I asked my mom to come with me.
Okay.
My mom was a little bit like, okay, I don't know the people. And my mom is كذا يعني, she's a little bit to herself.
Okay.
She's like, I don't know, it might be a little bit weird كذا. So I had to encourage my mom. Both of us showed up. And it was a crowd of people who I even knew personally. I showed up to the
so
mic.
you're more comfortable, Chidi?
No, بالعكس, I was very uncomfortable because
okay.
none of them knew.
Oh, okay.
فقلت, okay, I'll walk up to this microphone and say, hey, I'm Faris, I'm adopted. وكل حد بينصدم. Which was it? يعني I came up to the microphone and I don't know where I found the courage, like now, speaking in front of a microphone. And just said, hi, I'm Faris and I'm adopted. Very nonchalant يعني بس كده.
على الآخر.
Yeah, and then I pointed at my mother who was sitting in the back and everyone looked back and then I just started speaking and it was very easy because that surrounding was so small.
Yeah.
And I think
it was a small group.
It was a very small group.
وكان في adoptive parents هناك.
كان في parents, كان في ناس بس كانوا يريدوا يعرفوا. They wanted to educate themselves about adoption. Yeah.
That's nice.
It was very nice.
I do have a few more questions, but Wahab is here and he's interested in a few things. He wants to talk to you.
Right.
So I leave the microphone to Wahab and get back to you.
All right.
Okay?
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. My name is Abdullah Sultan. I just hopped on this podcast just to, ask Faris a couple of questions about himself and about his opinions. So let's begin. If a parent isn't present during a child's life, how will the child be able to fulfill that role if they had children in the future? For example, I'll make it easier for you. If you grew up without a father, so have I. I can say that. You now have children. Yeah, you have one son. Allah يحفظ لك إياه. How do you know what to do as a father if you didn't grow up with a father at all?
أول شيء ما تعرف تتصرف. That's the first thing. You don't know what to do. يعني you try to look at your surroundings. يعني if you don't have a father بتشوف ربعك أباهم هم. You'll see how do they act around their kids, which are my friends. يعني كيف أبو ربيعي. How are my friends who have become fathers? Because of course, most of my friends in my age don't have kids. يعني I'd look at the older guys who are in their mid-30s. I would say you تاخذ من هنا وتاخذ من هنا وتاخذ من هنا, but at the end of the day, there is not really a handbook on how to be a father. يعني you can't read a book.
Exactly.
You can't read a book before the pregnancy, while the pregnancy, during the pregnancy, my wife, أتذكر أمي جابت كتب كذا on how to be a dad, how to be with an infant, how to be with ما أعرف إيش, how to.
Yeah.
I do think it comes very natural. It comes very, very natural. يعني being a father, it is being protective. First of all. I think mothers are very protective about their children.
Of course.
And so are fathers. But fathers always take it very next level. يعني
They do, yeah. Just to protect their son or daughter.
Son, daughter.
whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And is there any mentors? Like, is there any mentors involved? Even though it's like, it sounds like a job, it's a job for life.
Yeah.
Because when you have children, they're your responsibility until you pass away.
Yeah.
So, do you ever reach out for help? Do you ask anyone for help, like advice? Perhaps your mother, perhaps your friends, or anyone who's available?
Mother, not really, because my mom is like, you typical mother. I mean, whatever I do is wrong. That's moms. I mean, they always want to look after you, and they always want to make something you're doing even more perfect.
Of course.
Basically. So my mom would more relate to my wife, you know, because they have this mother instinct, I would say, which they kind of share, you know, do this, do that, do this, do that. How to be a father, I don't know. I could ask my mom لأن هي ربتني. But again, in my whole story, ما موجود السالفة اللي هي عادات وتقاليد و language and. That's a bit difficult. It's very difficult.
You grew up with a single parent. Do you think it is advisable for single moms to adopt, or even single fathers?
I grew up with my mom, yes, only. طبعا now throughout this whole talk دائما I was saying culture وما أعرف إيش وكذا وما أعرف إيش. بس نهاية اليوم أمي واجد قوية. She's very strong. As a person, she's very, very strong.
Of course.
يعني except for this thing which I said, the cultural thing which was missing, she prepared me for life, for the world somehow. يعني I said this also back in my podcast in 2019. I wouldn't be the man I am today if not for my mom.
Of course.
يعني and the question is also, do you advise single moms to adopt? Yes, definitely, 200%. I'm an example. You're an example too.
Of course, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we're both examples.
We had moms, you know, who showed us, guided us. I mean, back when we were younger, most probably you'd think, I need my dad, you know? I need this. يعني أمي ما تفهم. It's not enough just coming from my mom.
Of course.
Need a man وكذا. But if you look at how we turned out, I mean, my mom was not always يعني lovey dovey وكذا وتمسح لي راسي وتنومني وتغطيني وما أعرف إيش. When it got tough, it got tough.
Yeah.
She'd tell me 1, 2, 3, that's it, that's enough.
Of course.
You know?
Very straightforward.
Very straightforward. So I do advise, يعني, definitely.
And do you think because for me personally, you said your mom, you see her as a very strong role in your life technically.
Yeah.
I see the same thing as well, to a point where I was like, even if I had a dad, it wouldn't even make a difference. She's fulfilled both of those roles at the same time, and that is enough to me.
Yeah.
Like as a person, because she was my motivation to be who I am today.
Yeah.
She's a part of my imperative.
MashaAllah.
Yani it's like it's either for her, it's for no one. So I do agree with that. And do you think you've had any struggles that, since we both grew up without fathers, Anna, I can say yes to that question. Have you grown up with struggles that you could have learned from a father figure in your life? That you had to learn the hard way, or perhaps in your own way?
Definitely. I don't know if it's, again, I always use this sentence because I don't know how it is in the GCC or how it is in Kuwait. In Oman, for example, there are a lot of things you need to be taught. يعني مجلس الرجال. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if you have this also in Kuwait. مجلس الرجال.
I don't think so, no.
يعني a مجلس, I think you call it ديوانية.
Okay, yeah.
ديوانية? Yeah, okay, you got it ديوانية.
We do have that.
ديوانية. وين بس رجال.
Yeah.
وين عندك العادات والتقاليد. تسلم. Do you call it ناشد لما تسلم السلام عليكم كيف الحال.
تصافح or just greeting.
Basically the long greeting وين تسأل عن الأهل وتسأل شخبارك كيف الأولاد كيف. The guys always used to make fun of me because I never knew what to say. يعني بيسلموا علي السلام عليكم, and for me it's just وعليكم السلام. But you need to know what to say. يعني تناقش تسأل تاخذ العلوم و
So many things, yeah.
which is one important thing, and you need to know how to act. يعني I wouldn't say interior ولا بدوان ولا ويش, but it's part of the culture.
Yeah, you know, honestly, at the end of the day, being a man is just recognizing yourself.
True.
To be honest, it's like you have to build yourself. Of course, everyone has to build themselves, but at the end of the day, you are, I think the more social you are, the more men you can see, you can look up to them.
True.
And at the end of the day, you cannot look up to someone and you know what, I'm gonna be like him. No, it doesn't work that way, because fortunately, you both have different experiences. For me personally, my grandfather, he's an actual man I really look up to, and I ask my mom about him. Like if I, like, for example, I've gotten into trouble. Okay, if my grandfather got into trouble, what would he do?
No.
And I would listen to her example, and so I would follow.
No.
Why? Because I look up to that person. There are really so many things personally in like that I've actually noticed in society, not even in Kuwait, but entirely in the GCC. In once, يعني, you've said لازم تسأل عن الأهل وما شنو ما شنو ما شنو. Like if you didn't have these qualities or these features, you're not as manly as they are. And people will actually judge you for that.
Yeah, that's very
and
true.
people will actually judge you for
That
it.
is
Like,
very
you don't
true.
ask this, you don't say that, you don't say this. Okay, like what? What do you want me to do? I grew up without a father.
True.
Do you want to say anything?
Yeah, very true.
Like, I don't have any reason.
Very true.
I really don't have any reasons. Just the way life was. No one told me it's gonna be this way for me.
No.
And yeah, I mean that's technically all I really want to ask you. So I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Truly, حبيبي.
So, أنت الحين you're married.
Yes.
You have a baby boy, حبيبي.
Never can do that.
Was it easy? I'm sure you've tried تخطب هني أو هني or talk about here and there.
Yeah.
So how did it go?
Bad.
Bad.
Bad,
Okay.
I would say.
What was it?
You'll get a girlfriend. And how 21st century works nowadays. You have a girlfriend and you get together. As I said, I didn't ever open up to someone so quickly about it. But when I used to be in a relationship يعني مع شخص ثاني, بعد ما ارتاح للشخص واحس اني اوكي مرينا في مراحل معينة وكذا in the stages of the relationship, انه it's time to open up, انه okay كذا drums open up about the adoption. Here comes Faris saying by the way, I'm adopted. And you're shocked at first that you even said it, because you don't know what the reaction of the other person would be.
Okay.
القصة هذه صارت لي مرتين by the way.
إنزين. What happened
مع
exactly?
شخصين. The answer would always be لا عادي أنا أهلي open-minded.
Okay.
So I think
فهذه الجملة شلون? You like the idea?
I hate the word open-minded. ما يعني whatever phrase it is, I hated the word open-minded. من بعد ما هالقصة صارت لي
إيه.
كرهت الكلمة.
ليش؟
Because I don't know why do you need to be open-minded to that.
To accept an adopted person.
Exactly. يعني
إيه.
أنا ما سويت شيء.
بالضبط.
ما إنه يعني I was brought into this world and there was a paper where I'd sign I want to be adopted, please, you know.
Please accept me.
Please accept me. That word would already fall open-minded, so I would think, okay, you know what? عادي. Go with the word open-minded. خليه goes in here, goes out there.
إيه. And then ثاني يوم.
دي ثاني يوم ثالث يوم وبعدين كذا you'd speak مثلا on the phone. بعدين the question would come, يا فارس كلمت أهلي وكذا. ما أهلي يعني كلمت أمي ولا حد كذا ولا صديقتي ولا مهما من كان. بس عندي سؤال واحد. So here you again think, okay, what's the question that's coming now? But the question is, this was twice the same thing I was
okay.
asked. عندك اسم الأب, عندك القبيلة, and there it just goes down the river.
أيوة.
Where I think, okay, doesn't work out. If that question came, خلاص, it's an issue forever.
So they're not as open-minded as
not
she thinks.
as open-minded.
She thinks they are.
No.
Okay. And then came your wife.
No.
What was different?
I met my wife multiple times بس كذا ما شفنا بعض في مكان until COVID happened and lockdowns وما أعرف إيش وكذا, and a bunch of friends came to my house and she was there, and we sat outside and we ended up having a conversation. I don't know, we got so comfortable with each other. It first started with daddy issues.
Okay. You told her you were adopted?
Not at the beginning.
No. Okay.
The first thing was like, okay, we don't know each other. So let's break the ice. يعني. So it kind of came into this, oh yeah, I have problems. وما أعرف إيش, I have daddy issues. I think she spoke or I spoke. I don't know who it was first. And either me or her said, yeah, me too. I also have daddy issues. So we kind of connected from there.
Okay.
And then I'm like, yeah, by the way, I'm also adopted. And it's not like she even put a full stop in it and said, oh, wala It just continued. The conversation just continued as if it was nothing. And I was shocked by myself because I've never experienced it.
Oh,
and he went, شخص ما يسألك قبيلة. Oh, no. ولا شخص يقول لك, okay, that's okay. ولا, oh, I feel sorry for you. ولا شيء كذا.
Did she ask questions? She wanted to know more? Was she... شلون كانت? What was her reaction other than it? The conversation went on and...
The conversation went on. Subject was closed and...
she was interested in you more than the adoption issue, probably.
Exactly. We got to know each other, and 4 months after getting to know each other, which was very quick, I'm like, okay, this is the girl. We getting married.
Okay.
Proposed, got married, and then adoption was... It's never really so much in my head, you know, in my day-to-day life. But she always used to ask me. She's like, so how do you feel about being adopted? Do you want to know your real parents? You know, these are all questions she would ask me, and I just feel so uncomfortable. I'm like, why does someone need to ask me these questions? I don't like it. But she didn't ask me in an uncomfortable way. يعني she بين فترة وفترة يعني هذا الأسبوع تسأل, بعد أسبوع أنت تسألني مرة ثانية. So I would feel kind of comfortable where I tell her, no, I don't really have that urge of getting to know my parents, where I tell her. She's like, okay. And then I did a DNA test where she actually pushed me to do it.
Okay.
She pushed me to do my DNA test, which I didn't want to do. I think I did it more for her rather for me. Because she said, do
you regret it?
No.
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 زين تحس إن it was good that she's asking you questions, يعني it's something you need to talk about, يعني يمكن get it off your shoulders.
طول حياتي ما كان عندي شخص يسألني about adoption.
اي
no one.
فشي زين إن عندك أحد يسألك.
Yes, definitely. يعني أقدر أفضفض, أحس إنه في شخص يفهمني.
يفهم, هذا شيء مهم.
Which is very important.
اي لأن ما تلاقي العادة, ما تلاقي ناس تفهم أنت عن شنو تحكي, صح؟
Yes.
Adoption comes with abandonment issues for everyone.
So, yeah.
Where is it exactly? Where are you from that? Are you aware of it? And touch your life in يعني different stages of life ولا شنو؟
Lot of stages. Recently حتى صار لي أصلا.
شنو؟
I don't know if this goes into psychology or whatever it is in your mind. But day to day, the adoption thing is not in my head.
Okay.
But me and يملؤها, we were speaking about this even today. مع ربعي.
Okay.
مثلا, very simple. مع ربعي. I always used to try to hold on to friends. A lot.
Okay.
لدرجة إنه I used to give my friends my clothes. أعزمهم مثلا على مطعم. Just for people to like me.
Okay.
ومثلا إذا تضارب مع ولا تضاربت يعني with a friend of mine, I would try to regain them immediately. لأنه فيني خوف إني أخسر هذا الشخص. Immediately. يعني على طول. And also my wife, for example, during COVID, she left. She's from South Africa. She left to South Africa, and I was begging her not to leave.
Yeah.
She was going, I think, for 2 weeks. And I never noticed this in myself. يعني أول مرة أشوف نفسي كذا. قلت لها لا تروحي. don't leave me, we just got married, please stay here, you don't need to go. ما أعرف إيش وكذا. She's like, I didn't see my family for a year. Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't want to be left alone.
Yeah.
لأنه خوف إنه بتروح ويمكن ما بترجع.
I remember that's the first thing she told me when I met her.
Yeah. الحين حتى نفس الشيء. She's traveling to Germany for 5 days with my son, with my mom. And I tell her, I don't want you to leave. Just
So
stay
it's
here.
still there.
It's I think it's just part of me.
It's
Always.
part of you.
It's part
Do you
of
think
me.
there's a way out?
No.
No. Huh?
I think it's with me. It's something that will stick throughout my life.
It is with adoption, ترى مو بس you.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's amazing knowing that there are multiple people who have the same thing.
Yeah, you will see them now. كلهم بتشوفهم.
Okay.
What do you want people to know about you? الحين at the very end ترى. We are at the end. I think we drained you.
No, I'm
You're okay?
I'm okay. I just have a little bit warm ears الحين from talking, I think. كذا ساخن أنا. What do I want people to know about me? We didn't rehearse of what to say about this question, right?
Well, we don't have to rehearse. Or let's do it differently. What do you want people to know about adoption? يعني at the very end, give us some advice. You've been through a lot. You went through different stages. You are aware of everything you've been through. This is what I like. That's why I enjoyed talking to you.
No.
لأن كل مرحلة من مراحل حياتك you went through something. You're aware of it.
No.
فapparently عندك analytical mind. You analyze things and you try to reach a place that you would understand what happened.
Yeah.
So give us some advice or some sort of a talk حق adoptive parents.
Can I say for the adopted children first?
Yes, you
One
can
thing?
say anything you want to say.
For adoptive children, يعني, I know it's a very big subject being adopted, and I wouldn't say يعني, to people who are adopted, just don't let it consume too much of energy for achieving things in life, because there's so much in life you can do, and not to fall into this dark hole of why me, why this, why that. Bad things happen to a lot of people around the world, and of course I'm not down talking anyone يعني adopted, but bad things also happen to people who are not adopted, and they go through things. Just find your purpose in life, which is very important, and work towards yourself a lot. يعني, just prove the world wrong.
Okay.
That adoption is not something which can hold you back in life. And you can achieve anything in the world, and adoption is not something which will hold you from becoming the king of a country or a president or whatever.
That's good. That's for the kids, adoptees. Okay, parents.
Parents. For parents, I think don't tiptoe around your children. يعني if you adopt a child, don't tiptoe. ما كل شيء يصير على طول يعني you go very deep into it because it's not your biological child. Treat the child like he's your child. Just show the love and affection as if it is your child. لا يعني don't think about, oh, was it the right decision to adopt? Is the child acting out because he's adopted? يعني واجلس يعني I think one thing I miss a lot and no one really spoke to me about it
يعني talk to them.
يعني I think I could have spoken much more. يعني لو السبجكت adoption وكذا كان أكثر موجود I think I would even be more thankful about my adoption. One of the things I really wanted to do is go to an orphanage, which I never did.
Okay.
يعني الناس والشباب يعني هبة وكذا they all speak about it. And also growing up يعني I always used to think this life sucks, and I have a mom who tells me what to do and she shouts at me because I did 1 2 3 وكذا وما أعرف إيش. and not cherishing someone who actually took you in and appreciating it. That's again for the children. I'm going back to the children.
That's okay.
But for the parents, it's
talk
just
to your kids. I
talk
guess
to your
it was
kids.
the main thing.
Definitely talk to your kids and don't tiptoe around it. As I said, أنا نفس الشيء. I told my mom, you're not my mom.
Yeah.
But look at me now. I don't know if it's يعني بالعماني نحن نقول ود ماما.
إيه.
100% ود ماما.
صح.
I'm my mother's child. 100%.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I want to be a big shout out to your mom.
Thank you.
You did an amazing job.
Thank you for having me.
And Kylan, we miss you. Uday hugs and kisses.
Inshallah.
And thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
I think it was amazing. You good? You feel good about it all?
I feel perfect. I also want to thank everyone for having me and having me visit Kuwait, which is a very beautiful country. And I definitely revisit again because I've beyond my expectations. I really loved it.
Alhamdulillah, that's amazing.
Alhamdulillah.
اوكي شكرا جميعا واتمنى ان اكون وصلنا لكم المسج اللي نبي نوصلها مثل كل مره. زاويه جديده ونلقاكم على خير.